One of the greatest unknowns is the mechanism. And we just don't understand what causes diabetes and what are the mechanisms leading to the disease. For us to enact a cure for type 1 diabetes, we're going to have to prevent the disease. And you can only do this really by understanding the early phases of the disease and preventing the actual disease from occurring. This particular session was really devoted to understanding pre-type 1 diabetes.
We think that type 1 diabetes can actually be staged in 3 stages, and one is the stage of asymptomatic diabetes with islet autoimmunity but no dysglycemia, a stage 2 where children have islet autoimmunity and already signs of dysglycemia but they are still asymptomatic, and stage 3 where they have the classical onset of symptomatic type 1 diabetes.
And most importantly, would use this staging approach for designing new clinical trials, developing biomarkers to conduct clinical trials more effectively, and ultimately to develop interventions based on this staging to arrest progression to symptomatic type 1 diabetes in this at-risk population.
As we begin to talk about classification, as we talk about potential staging of diabetes, what we're trying to do is to provide a patient-centered approach to the care of the individual person affected by diabetes.
I live with diabetes every day. I do type 1 diabetes research and I take care of children with type 1 diabetes. And even when I grew up, there was always the promise, actually my pediatrician promised my mom that I would not go to college with diabetes, that there'd be a cure before I went to college. And of course that didn't come to pass, which is why I'm here now, having learned to do type 1 diabetes research. So you don't want to overextend what might happen, but at the same time there's never been a more exciting time in type 1 diabetes research because there's never been this much infrastructure for diabetes research.
Both the research team and the advocacy team have worked hand in hand to put this conference together to make sure that the right scientists are present, that the regulatory folks from the Food and Drug Administration are here, and that we've got the community of experts to really talk about these important issues.
And then we also heard today about a new trial that JDRF is partnered in that's launching in January, where we're going to be offering screening to 200,000 children in Bavaria. We are supporting this study with financial resources because of its importance to prevention of type 1 diabetes. This is the first study of its kind that's taken a public health-based approach of childhood screening for the presence of the autoimmunity associated with type 1 diabetes. This is truly unique. This is the only place in the world where this is taking place. And we think that this will accelerate approaches to prevention of type 1 diabetes.
I think the main message for the type 1 diabetes community, really, there are a lot of exciting things coming, but they're all predicated on continued participation. And so having the type 1 diabetes community continue to rally, continue to, of course, raise funds, but continue to participate in these trials as they roll out, to not lose hope, to know that earlier diagnosis is coming, and that's going to drive a new wave of improved therapies.